Welcome back, nieces, nephews, everything in between and or otherwise, to another episode of Video Game Realtor, where today we are not looking at a Zelda game, but rather a Portal game. If you watched the outro of my last video, this should not be a surprise. And of course, we're looking at the test chambers of Portal 1. We're here to find out which of these science rooms would make the best bedrooms, and living rooms and kitchens and so on. Though we'll have to make a few clarifications, like what is and isn't a test chamber, and how we will traverse them, and of course allowed alterations to the chambers. So what is a test chamber? Pretty easy, anything with one of these. But less obvious is what isn't a test chamber, and that would be anything outside of the intended bounds of the chambers, like all the Ratman hideouts, and of course everything past the final test chamber when we fully break away from GLaDOS's incineration. To put it a little bit more simply, everything from the entry elevator all the way to the exit elevator is what we will be looking at. Now, how will we traverse these chambers, and what does that even mean? Well, in this scenario, you'll be your regular self, so you won't be given a portal gun for getting around or long fall boots to negate any fall damage. And with those changes, the chambers have to be re-examined in a whole new, more easily accessible light. So chambers with huge drops and no access to areas without portals won't score so well. And of course, safety is a huge priority, so we'll obviously be getting rid of any turrets and completely shutting off GLaDOS for you. Only thing left to worry about is the poop water, and those will obviously go lower as well. And for alterations, I'll allow for only 3 types, because to be honest, if we had to take them all as they were, they'd all suck pretty lame lemons and this video would be pretty boring. And these 3 alteration types will be adding ladders, adding bridges, and allowing for the removal of glass/fence walls. The first 2 are obvious enough. Without portals, you'll need old school ways of getting around. And for the last, I find it slightly silly to block off huge parts of these places that could easily be knocked down by a hammer or some bolt cutters, so go crazy with those. And with those clarities, I've only got 2 more things to say. Number 1, subscribe. That would be so awesome. We just hit 5,000 and that is super awesome, and I really appreciate that, and you guys are awesome. And 2, just let me know what other games you want to see me cover in this series. I've got at least another 2 Zelda videos I can do, but I'd love to cover anything that you guys want to see. Just leave a comment here or on any of my other videos about any games or genres or platforms or whatever you'd like to see me cover in this series. And if you see that someone has already left a comment for the game you were going to comment, leave a comment anyway. And no, I'm not just trying to farm for engagement. If you guys all leave comments for stuff, I can just hit Control F and then it'll automatically count how many of the same things are already being said, and that'll make it easier for me to sort out which to prioritize. So TLDR, subscribe and comment for the games you want to see covered next. But enough of these words, let's talk about the worst test chamber to live in Portal 1. Coming in at number 20 is test.
Actually, there are only 19 test chambers.
Yes, as far as numbers go, that is true, but we are also counting the starting room because it does have a screen with the number 0. So actually, there are 20 test chambers. So, like I was saying, 20 is test chamber 8, and it was an easy pick for the bottom. The whole place is full of water, and all the places you can stand just put you closer to the danger of falling in. Plus, having to get to those places, you would need a whole lot of bridges, and it really just isn't worth the cost. So, let's keep moving. Number 19, Chamber 18. This is one of the momentum tests. So, that is to say, there's a lot of big drops and sections of water for you to fall into if you end up rolling your ankle on the way to the bathroom. Again, you could get some ladders and bridges and stuff, but again, just not really worth it. Number 18, Chamber 11. This one, you'll absolutely have to break that glass to move around in this place without portals. If you do, you will need some bridges over the water to access these 2 rooms, one of which is really small, and the other is actually pretty nice. But again, that water is just too big of a risk, and I do not recommend taking it. There's also another smaller room, but I didn't even mention it because you need a ladder and a bridge, and it really just isn't anything. Number 17, Chamber 19. Last chamber of the game, and it's pretty anticlimactic. Just one decently sized room and some more death water. Though I will use this one to say that I'd like to think we have some level of control over the chamber's mechanisms. For instance, we'd be able to lower these platforms so that they're on the ground flat, and we could move this back into the wall, or we could even have these floating platforms move in the opposite direction. I'll point out some other stuff like this when we get to them, so let's get. Number 16, Chamber 14. You know, I was actually considering this to be one of the possible best while I was early into making this. You walk in and to your left and right there is a ton of space. You could probably fit 2 whole kitchens in there. Lucky you. To the left and up the stairs, we get another real good space and a window up top for people to watch you sleep, cause I think this would make for a nice bedroom spot. Or not, do what you want with it. And when you're done, we can move back down and all the way to the right this time. And don't worry about tripping over this button, we'll have it removed for you. And as for all chambers that have buttons to open doors, I think that'll be one of the things we can control so that the door will just open and close when you want it to and you don't need this big button in the way. Through that door though, you'll find a section of a tight little hallway that'll lead you to the water room. The only reason this place is this low. We can keep these platforms static up top and you can bridge your way across to the back, but all you've got is a little closet worth of space. And of course we'll get rid of the deadly energy ball creator for you. If you still want to live here after all that, you can head back up to this elevator and out your back door to the next chamber. Number 15, Chamber 15. Hey, look at that, the numbers lined up. That'll be the only one too. It's also the only one to be the last of the water chambers, so now I don't have to worry about getting demonetized every time I say it. It's the last one because it's the best of them, and it's just really big. Let's just walk through it. You enter this one large room divided by a glass wall and a Aperture Science Material Emancipation Grill, or Fizzler for short. Just knock that glass wall down and you're good. Through the door and around the corner, we have another room with twice as many fizzlers and more devices for us to be rid of. Ignoring the fizzlers because they don't really affect us.
If you feel liquid running down your neck, you are simply experiencing a rare reaction in which the Material Emancipation Grill may have emancipated the ear tubes inside your head.
Well, maybe we will turn them off just to save on the electricity bill. Past them, we have 2 sections, one larger, one smaller. I'm thinking the smaller one could be an office or a gamer station, and the larger one could be a bedroom. As for the rest of the room, we could make that into a living area. If you don't want it there though, don't worry, we still have a lot of space. Up this elevator and through the hall, we'll find that space. Listen to this dude, bruh. A lot of space. Up this elevator and through the hall, we'll find that space. We'll find that space. Shut the f up, yo. Alright, I'm out. And to the left and up some stairs, they have another space that you could use as a weird storage area. Though, of course, the bigger space is the real eye candy. Lots of room and 2 more glass walls under some fizzlers. Get rid of both of them and you can set up a nice big kitchen/dining room area. Though do be careful because your family will want to do Thanksgiving at your place every year. All that leaves us with is the hallway. This hall has a lot of shit water beneath it and a platform that goes the wrong way. Though that's not an issue for us, we can just reverse the direction of the platform and we'll be moving into the back rooms. No, not those. Back here, there's a real open area and to either side there's an elevated smaller room. Could make for cozy little cramped bedrooms. They even have touch activated platforms to get up there, so no need for ladders back here. As for the main space, I don't know, you probably shouldn't even risk coming back here to begin with, so do whatever you want with it. Number 14, Chamber 12. This one and the next are both momentum-based chambers, so they both suck quite a bit for your average Joe, but they're manageable with ladders and such. This one would just need a lot more ladders considering how vertical it is. Though I will say that this entrance area is pretty nice. You even get some stairs down to your basement, but that won't be enough to get at a higher spot. Number 13, Chamber 10. Like I said, another momentum-based one, but it is far less vertical. You'll only really need 1 bridge right here and then like 2 ladders or maybe just 1. It's this area right here that I'm not sure about. A ladder here would be inconvenient in any spot and the next area is just too high for a bridge. Stairs would be the obvious answer, but that doesn't really work with our allowed alterations. The closest we could do is a ramp, I guess. It'll be pretty steep though. Only wheelchair accessible on paper. The rest is much more straightforward, just a ladder and you'll be at the end. Overall, pretty okay. Number 12, Chamber 17. This one has a pretty rough start. Past this little mudroom is a real long skinny hall, a little room, and then another long, admittedly less skinny hall, where we come down a couple of steps into the bulk of the space in this chamber. We'll need a ladder to get down, and then on our furthest left is a cute little room that I think would make for a perfect little bedroom. Though back out to our now left is a much larger room that has 2 doors that simply lead to the other side of the door. They're just in the middle of this room. And I'd say this room is large enough to act as our living room because we don't really get many options in this chamber. Also, while getting footage, I got like 100% stuck on this camera on the ground. I couldn't walk away from it in any direction or jump out of it. I had to pick it up to get out of it. Pretty freaky. But back on topic, there isn't a whole lot left beyond this though, just this space under these platforms and a little space by the back door. It's an alright place. Number 11, I did the fucking 11 thing again. Number 11, my southern is getting to me, Jesus. Number 11, chamber 4. Yeah, it is smaller, but as we saw with the last one, size can be misleading. At least here, we know exactly what we're getting into. Plus, I like having this lower section. You can probably do more fun stuff with that, but if not fun, then it would make a fine place for your bed. Number 10, chamber 7. This is another one-roomer, but I think it's got a bit of personality with these curved walls by the entry stairs. Also, it has stairs. A surprisingly rare sight among the chambers. Only other detail of note is this moving platform in the back bringing you to the back door. We could easily set the platform to stay still in front of the door and just set a ladder up there to keep it simple. And I know I already mentioned it, but I really do like the way the walls curve at the beginning. Number 9, chamber 6. This one is nearly the same thing, but just a little smaller. And instead of the moving platform, we have this one that simply rises and falls as needed. And I think that simplicity earns its spot. Number 8, chamber 0. And here is the reason there are 20 spots on this list instead of 19. And honestly, it should be number 1 due to the simple fact that it's the only chamber with a toilet. A fact that I've been avoiding for this whole list. Not really. But if you do end up living anywhere but here, good luck on finding a bathroom. Wait a minute. Maybe this wasn't an accident. Maybe this is the reason that so many chambers have shitwater hazards. Because none of the other ones have toilets. It all makes sense now. Anyhow, this chamber is pretty slick. We'd of course knock these glass walls down around the bed and toilet so that we can get around easier, and in doing so we also get access to this pretty large room, and through that door we have another decently sized room for you. And through the second door is the exit, making this chamber one of only 2 to not have both an entry and exit. This one only has an exit, and chamber 19 only has an entrance. And of course they are the first and last chambers respectfully. Number 7, chamber 5. This one is kinda like if the last one got some plastic surgery done, which is just a weird way of saying that it's slightly better. You come in and into this little mud room. Keep going and you'll find the main room with some good space. There are 2 raised platforms that we could get lowered for you, and some buttons on the floor that we'll also remove. In the back of the room is a section that you could use for storage or a bedroom or whatever. But beyond the door, the room is much smaller and only really acts as a way to connect the place to the back door. Just break the glass, put a ladder. Number 6, chamber 1. The first real test chamber, and it makes for a pretty okay place to live. We'd of course drop all the glass walls, and in doing so, we'd open the place up a little bit, letting us actually stretch our legs in here. I'm thinking a bed on this wall, set up a living room in this middle part, and this left area, maybe with a sectional. And then of course this larger area by the exit would make a great kitchen. Number 5, chamber 2. Another simple but effective design. When you come in, don't even worry about what's to the right. It's just a staircase that takes you to a corner. Use it as a closet if you want. But what you want to do is bust that glass down and pretty up this larger area and try and impress any of your guests that want to come by. You can mount a TV up on that wall with a hole in it, try to keep out any peeping toms. But we can't do much about the glass above with the literal creep spots, so maybe get some curtains. Number 4, chamber 3. This is sort of like the shotgun homes of the test chambers, if shotgun homes had a right angle in them. There's plenty of space in these big wide halls, and honestly I'm having trouble making this place sound interesting. It's just a good solid chamber with a pit that could be nice as like a chill nook area. Maybe you can bring in some bookshelves and bean bags, really get something going there. And then round the corner we get another rare sighting of stairs down into another area with either the same amount of space, if not just a little less. And that's about it for this chamber. Nothing flashy, but simple, stable place to call home. Number 3, chamber 9. This is another place that has a fizzler to walk through, and for the sake of your ear tubes, we'll be shutting those off again. I always like going over places like this that really have separate rooms, or just something like this doorway to separate what is really just one big room. It's always nice to see. And that other door just leads to the exit. Number 2, chamber 13. I was gonna start this part off by saying, I actually really like this one, but seeing as it's at number 2, I think that'd be pretty redundant. You come in and enter this nice smaller room that actually has some verticality to it with these metal walkways up here for you. This room can almost act as your porch to just come to get away, light a cigarette, drink some coffee. They also have a glass wall that could be removed to get access to the larger area. There is a door up above, but I think we'll save some ladder space and just use the glass. And this larger area is just about that, much larger. It's honestly kind of plain. They have these 2 elevated panels that we can bring down for you, and then just this floating platform, which is kind of useless. I guess we could stop it and you can use it as a shelf if you really want to. The only other thing in here is that you'll need a ladder to get up to the exit. Now, I'll be the first to say that these chambers have been pretty dull and only make for good homes from a practical standpoint. There hasn't been much flair or style to a lot of these places, but don't you worry your pretty little head any longer, because we've just arrived at number 1, Chamber 16, and I think you're gonna like it here. Coming in off the elevator, we have a few little rooms to move through. This first one would look real nice with a little shoe cubby in there, maybe some live, love, laugh signs that are just so adorbs. Through the door, we have a larger room which gives us viewing access to what I think would make for a nice second living room, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's do a wraparound. Up next, we got another little hallway, which leads us to another little room. It's about the same size as the last one. Through that door is another bigger hall with some space on the sides for some bookshelves or car parts or whatever, or both. Round that corner at the end will reveal a slightly elevated nook! It's actually pretty spacious for a nook. You could put a whole coffee table and some more stuff up here and look down upon all those who pass below. Rounding another corner, there are so many corners in this place, we find another decently sized area where we will be ignoring the Ratman lair. And I'm thinking this section could be a cool gamer station. I keep suggesting game rooms because I don't know what normal people do with extra space in their homes. An art studio, place to set up Civil War scale model, I don't know, what would y'all do? Regardless, on the other side of that glass is a much smaller room that maybe you could set up with an icebox, some cabinets. It doesn't have to be the whole kitchen, but it could just be like a snack room. It's good to have that by the hobby area too. You can also ditch the glass for easier access if you want, but I would leave it. Opposite of this room, we have another area, the exact same size, that would be perfect for another fucking nook! Or not, maybe just put a couch down to give you a place to rest while walking through this big place. Then of course there is living room number 1, and this really is a great one. There is a ton of room here, and it's also very open without feeling like you're exposed, you know? I think it has to do with this glass wall, and it's one that I suggest we keep up. But you should try and get these bloodstains out though. It's kind of weird, but the glass being here lets you feel secure with letting you feel less exposed, but still allowing you to see whatever might be coming from the halls. Does that make sense to you guys, or am I crazy? Does anyone get what I'm talking about? I feel like this isn't too crazy. Regardless, another nice part of this place is the bedroom that connects straight to the living room, and inside is just the perfect amount of room. With a lot of these past chambers, I suggested setting up bedrooms in places that were a bit too small or a bit too large, but really I think this is the Goldilocks of bedroom areas, which is to say it is perfectly sized. And these glass walls that look into the second living room, which we'll get to in a second, could be seen as a plus or a negative. Being able to see in there is nice, but people being able to see into your room is not so nice. I suggest the obvious of just getting some big nice curtains, or just taking them down and putting up actual walls if you want to. And speaking of that second living room, let's have a look at it. Now, while I keep referring to this place as the second living room, it obviously doesn't have to be. That's just my suggestion, and none of these places have to be what I say they are. That's for you to decide. In fact, I might even have this area be a kitchen instead, and put a dining table in there too. And one last thing about this room is that you could break down the glass wall that divides this room from the entry room, so that you don't have to go all the way around to get in here. It'll have the place feel more open and connected. And that's the main bulk of this place. All that's left in this area is the back door that gets a little spooky with these low lights, but I could be wrong. I was watching this video while getting footage for this place, so it might just be me connecting the fear I had watching that video with having done it while getting footage for this place. You know, usually with Video Game Realtor, I have trouble picking a number 1 spot, because usually in this series, once they start getting good, it starts getting subjective on which place is better than which. But with these test chambers, it was really easy, because the number 1 spot was easily miles better than the number 2 spot. But what do I know? I got all the footage for this game off the Switch port. So let me know if you would change the order around, if you would leave it how it is, if you want to be friends, leave a red heart, if you want me to die, leave a black heart, and follow me on Instagram, where I post far too often about the video that I am currently working on. That's going to be Uncle Lloyd with a K, because this guy stole the correct spelling version. Subscribe, of course, and as the last thing, please do leave comments for videos that you want to see covered next on Video Game Realtor. But with that, I've got nothing else to say, so later!